everybody. Hope you're having a great day today. What I want to do today is revisit a couple distributions that I've taken a look at in the past. And in my opinion, they're the easiest way to use Fedora. Now, I know a lot of people out there, they download Fedora, put it on their system, and then they go through and they add all the things that they need to add to make it easier to use Fedora, whether it be RPM Fusion repositories or codecs or all the hoops you got to jump through to get Fedora up and running the way you like it. These two distributions, though, are based on Fedora, and they make it exceedingly simple to just download it, install it, and you're ready to go. You don't have to do much after that. You can game on it, you can do your work on them, but it's really, really simple. So we're going to revisit both of these distributions, and if you already use them, or maybe you're a user of Fedora, if you've got input, please drop it in the comments below. The newest release of one of my favorite Linux distros, which is Ultramarine. Now, they've made a few changes, and they've changed a couple desktop environments, which I think is going to be really, really nice. Now, Ultramarine is Fedora-based Linux distribution, and what they do is they tweak it. They add a lot of things out of the box that you have to add to Fedora just to get it up and running when you first install it. Ultramarine does that for you and makes everything completely easy. And it's designed to be a workstation or battle station, whatever you want to call it. And it keeps up with the latest and greatest software in the open source community. Now, it's based on Fedora, and it's designed to be 100% bug for bug compatible with Fedora, which means you can actually run a migration script that if you're already running Fedora, you can click on this script, run it, and it will actually convert it to Ultramarine, but it's still bug for bug 100% compatible with Fedora. It's developer friendly, and it's got sane defaults. And then, of course, we've got some reviews down here. You can see one of the last ones I did is right there. Now, what I do want to show you is if you go to download, I've covered the flagship version, which is Budgie, and I've also covered the GNOME version. And they do have a Pantheon version, but I'm excited to announce that Ultramarine does now come with a KDE Plasma Edition. Now, it's got a custom layout, which is inspired by Pop! OS. This is something I'm really excited to see because I haven't even started it up yet. I wanted to look at it first with you guys, so that way when we're looking at it together for the first time. So, without any further ado, I want to go ahead and get on over to the desktop. And there it is. If you download it, throw it on a USB, open it in a virtual machine, you will have Ultramarine KDE. Now, you can see the inspiration they're getting. They say it's inspired by Pop! OS. So if you come down here, you've got a panel down here, show desktop here, and then you've got your hidden icons right here, which is notifications, clipboard, lock key status, KDE Connect, and then internet, USB, and of course sound. Then you will have your calendar right here. And then if we come over here, you've got your application menu over here. And now if we come back down bottom, you have Firefox. You have terminal settings. First thing I want to do is let's go to settings. Let's scroll down here and look at about system. And we're running KDE Plasma version 5.26.4. And kernel version is 6.0.15. And the graphics platform is Wayland. Now, if we go back up top and we go to appearance, you've got the Ultramarine theme right here. And as you can tell, it contains the desktop layout. Now, the reason I point this out is you've also got a Fedora layout, and then of course your Breeze, Breeze Dark, and Breeze Twilight. If you're not familiar, if I wanted to change over to the Fedora, I would click on that. And now this little window pops up. Now, if you want to change the appearance settings, you can. You can also change the desktop and window layout, which would move everything back over where it would be on a normal KDE, but you would have to check mark it right here. And then click apply. I'm not going to change that right now. I'm going to stay in this Ultramarine layout. But remember, if you want to change, let's say you were on Breeze Twilight and you wanted to switch back over to Ultramarine, it's going to say appearance settings and desktop layout if you wanted to go back to this layout. So remember that. That's one of the new features of the newer KDE releases. It gives you more customization opportunities across your desktop. So just remember that. So I'm going to close out of that, and I want to go ahead and drop down here. And I want to go ahead and see if they have HTOP. And they do. Right now, with just the terminal open, I'm at about 1.6 gigabytes of RAM being used. It's a little heavier than normal, but I think I might be running a little bit more in the RAM because I am in a virtual machine and I've only got 4 cores issued to it. So that's something to look at. I am going to install this on hardware
later. And once I do, I will definitely give you an update because this is beautiful, guys. I love what they've done with KDE in this situation. They've kind of given it their own custom feel. I know a lot of you out there are saying it doesn't really matter to me, KDE's KDE, but I always like to see something new in the Linux community. If you disagree with me, please drop that in the comments below. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And we were just in settings. I'm not going to go over that. I've covered settings quite often in previous videos. And right now we're at Dolphin File Manager, and I love what they've done with the look here. You've got the transparency in the background, so the wallpaper is going to bleed through a little bit. And you've got your usual suspects over here, and of course your home folders right here. And for all of you that panicked with Dolphin on other releases that doesn't have all your pictures and videos and downloads folders there, they're already there out of the box for you here. So, and then down here you've got your devices, and then of course Ultramarine removable devices, trash, Dolphin, great file manager, very powerful file manager, lets you get work done, and also gives you a lot of tools to make that work a lot easier. So let's close out of that. And then if we come up here to the menu, you've got favorites, all applications, you've got aggregator, ARC, crash processes, DNF Dragora, which is to install and remove software. Let's go ahead and open that up and take a peek at that. And if you guys have never used this reminds me a little bit of Synaptic Package Manager, which is more of a type search install tool. If you're familiar with that, you could definitely be familiar with this, but once it refreshes itself right here, I'll show you exactly how you use it, exactly how you search for software, and what you would do to actually install it. So we'll let that refresh and then we'll move forward. So it has completed refreshing, and it refreshed everything, guys. It refreshed the Terra packages, the RPM Fusion packages. It pretty much went out and got everything fresh, and you can come up here and you could pretty much do a search. Let's do a search for something like GIMP. We'll go ahead and do that search, and there is GIMP right there. So all you would have to do is click on it, and if you wanted to install it, just come down here and click apply. That is how easy they make it. You could do that for any application that you wanted to install. Let's go ahead and do something like Kdenlive, and it's got Kdenlive 22.08 or 22.12. So if you wanted the newest version, you could just come over here, click on it, and then come down here and apply. It makes it that simple. That's DNF Dragora. It makes installing on here so simple, so easy. Like I said, if you can use Synaptic Package Manager, DNF Dragora is going to be totally easy for you to use. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's go back up here. Let's go to all applications. And then you do have Discover Software Center. I recommend just getting rid of that and just relying wholly on DNF Dragora. Dolphin, Dragon Player, Alyssa, Firefox, Firewall. You could set that up if you needed to. HTOP, K-Address. So you're going to have a lot of the KDE applications here. Camosa, KCalc, KDE Partition Manager, KMag, KMail, Contact Console, KPatience. You do have the Latte Dock here. You've got LibreOffice installed out of the box. PIM, Data Exporter, Spectacle for screenshots. And then your system monitor, let's see if it's giving us the same info that we were getting on HTOP, and it's not. It's giving us 2.5. And like I said, once you install this and it's not using RAM in the background, those numbers will drop exponentially. So let's go ahead and close out of this. Next thing, I want to go right click. Let's configure desktop and wallpaper. And let's see what kind of wallpapers we do get. We've got the dark version, which we're looking at here, and then you would have a light version there. Kind of like that. I mean, either way, it looks really nice. And then you're going to have your KDE suite of wallpapers that you get with most of your KDE distributions and your KDE desktop environment. So that is definitely a great looking operating system. If you're somebody that likes Fedora and you're somebody that likes using RPM Fusion and things like that, but you want those tools installed out of the box, you can't go wrong with Ultramarine. And now that they actually have a spin that's got KDE, now I do want to tell everybody this is a spin. It's not a distribution. Ultramarine is a spin of Fedora because it's using the Fedora kernel in the base of Fedora. So it's a spin. It's not a distro. They haven't changed the kernel in any way, and they haven't modified it anyway. Like I said, it's 100% bug for bug compatible with Fedora. If you're already running Fedora 37 and you want to use Ultramarine, you can run a migration script and everything will migrate to an Ultramarine look and all of their tweaks that they've made, but you still have that solid Fedora base. What do y'all think? Are you happy to see Ultramarine finally come out with a KDE version? Is it something you might give a shot to? Whatever you might think, please let me know in the comments below. Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the newest release of Nobara. Now, if you're not familiar with Nobara, the way I would describe it is to Fedora what Linux Mint is to Ubuntu. But before we get started with today's video, I want to say thank you. We're at 20,500 subscribers and the channel just keeps growing on a daily basis. I am extremely happy and thank you guys so much. I also want to remind you that you can become a member to the channel for just 99 cents a month. The MVP, VIP, and Pro versions are going to be weeded out and hopefully be completely gone by the end of the month. And all those perks are going to drop over to the 99 cent a month eBuzz Central member. It's a great way to support the content you like and also a great way to support the channel. And while I'm speaking about that, I want to say a quick thank you to my newest member, Mick Biddulph. Thank you so much for believing in the channel and believing in the content that you want to support it. And also thank you so much to the rest of my members. The channel is growing exponentially and I'm really, really happy. I've got great things coming for you all in 2023, so stay tuned. So basically it comes down to what is Nobara? Nobara is actually created by Glorious Eggroll. You all know him in the Linux community, and he wanted to come out with a version of Fedora. Now, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. It's not a spin of Fedora. It's not a distro of Fedora. What it is he's using Fedora's base, yes. But what he is doing is he's making it more point-and-click friendly. So a lot of things that don't come out of the box with Fedora, it's already installed, whether it be RPM Fusion, Wine dependencies, OBS Studio, third-party codec packages, all of those are already in there. And third-party drivers such as NVIDIA, and even small package fixes here and there. So that's the beauty of it. So when I said at the beginning of the video, it's Linux Mint to Ubuntu is what Nobara is to Fedora, it just takes all the, pain in the butt work that you usually have to do once you install Fedora, takes that out of the way and it's already taken care of for you. It's really awesome. Now, what this does is it makes it more point and click friendly, but those of you who love using the terminal can still use the terminal to your heart's content. Now, in this newest release, they've fixed a lot of bugs and gaming-oriented updates, whether it was kernel patch with cherry-picked Zen patches or AMD CPCCs. If you scroll down a little bit more, NVIDIA GPU detection and driver auto installation has been updated. Video codecs, a post-installation codec installer asks the user if they would like to enable and install various important codecs. Blender, available FFmpeg support, available with HIP support, DaVinci Resolved. Dependencies are installed. Yes, it works easily on a fresh install, which is awesome because I'm using DaVinci right now on an Arch-based distro, and I had to jump through a few hoops to get it taken care of. OBS Studio Wine. What I'll do is I'm going to link everything that I'm looking at here. I'll make sure to put that link in the description below, and you can really go read everything that they do for this distribution. It is really awesome, and it makes using Fedora easy. Now, I'm going to call it Nobara because that's what it is. And they've got 3 different versions that you can download. Let me go ahead and click on download. You've got the official version right here, and you've got a GNOME version, and you also have a KDE version. Now, I've looked recently at some KDE versions of different operating systems and GNOME, so we're going to go with the official today. I already have it downloaded, so what I'm going to do real quick is zip on over to the desktop so we can take a look at it. And if you download it, throw it on a USB and boot into it, whether in a virtual machine or from the USB, this is the screen you're met with. Right off the bat, it immediately opens up the Calamares installer. That's what they're using out of the box. This installer is real simple, guys. You've got a welcome screen, location, keyboard, partitions, users, summary, install, finish. If you've installed anything, whether it be Windows or Linux, you'll know what's going on here. It's quite obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. I do love the background. Yes, we want to cancel that. And it looks like we're using the Budgie desktop environment, which is based on GNOME, but I do like the overall look. You get a single panel down here on the bottom. Now, first thing I want to do, let's zip on over to settings, and that's the same base settings, accessibility. There we go. There's about. Let's go ahead and open that up. and it shows that it's Nobara, and I'm using 7.8 gigabytes, well, 8 gigabytes of RAM, AMD Ryzen 9. Huh, that's odd. Did you all see that? Well, let's wait and see if that recovers. Well, let me try to refire it up in a virtual machine and see what happens. Please stand by. Okay, let's try this again. We'll test the media. This time I will let it go through the check. Make sure that aborting the check previously didn't mess anything up. That's quite odd. Now, I did try Nobara about 4 months ago and had some issues with it. I don't know if they were just, on my end or me doing something wrong, but I did have issues with it and had to switch distributions. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it was just an accident, but let's try this again and see if it lets me get into everything over here. Okay, it popped back up, so let's go ahead and close out of that. And the installer will quit and change and all will be lost. Yes, so there we go. Let's try this again. Now what I'm going to do this time is let's go ahead and just look for a terminal. And what I want is to see if they have NeoFetch. They do have NeoFetch. And it seems as though, let me go ahead and maximize that so y'all can see it. And let's go ahead and make that a little bigger. We're running kernel version 6.0.16-301.fsync.fc37.x8. And window manager is Mutter, and everything else looks pretty fine. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's right click. If we start messing around here, is it going to crash on us again? I really don't know what happened. Maybe it was an issue with VirtualBox. Maybe I hit a wrong button. But anyway, let's go ahead and get down to the bottom bar. This is pretty self-explanatory. You've got date and time right here. You can select your weather location right here if you want to. Add world clocks, power, volume, and internet. We've got night light setting, dark mode. If we click on that, it should go to a light mode. Yeah, I want to go back to dark, wired, clipboard, and then, of course, you've got your tiled windows. Now, if we open up, let's go ahead and open up Firefox. Let's go ahead and open up File Manager. And if we hit Tile, let's go ahead and click Tile. It automatically tiles them. So this happens if we open up Software Center, it tiles it. So it pretty much takes care of everything in and of itself. So you've got kind of a tile manager right out of the box, or we can close that and go back that way. So I'll go ahead and close those out. So that's a nice little tool to have right there. I know it's real popular with a lot of Linux distros, so Nobara has it out of the box. So if we go back over to your settings again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. You've got appearance settings, notifications. You can adjust your display resolution. Let's scroll down a little bit. You've got date and time, about. So changes that you want to make, you can make over here. They're pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory. And if we come back down to the bottom, you've got the Nobara Package Manager. Let's go ahead and open that up. And right here, it will give you packages, groups, history, and queue. We're going to let it go ahead and update its repository metadata. And then we will go from there. And it seems that it's refreshing the repository metadata. And it did everything. Nobara, Nobara Only Office, Nobara RPM, RPM Fusion Free, RPM Fusion Non-Free. It did quite a bit of downloading, but right now it's refreshing. And I like that animation. It shows you that it's refreshing it and getting it taken care of. So we'll give it just a little bit longer and we will continue. And it is finally complete, and it shows that you can check for updates, you can check for installed, available, getting available packages. Now my question is if I do a search, let's say we were searching for something like Krita. Hit enter, there's Krita right there, so we could pull that up. And something like GIMP. Okay, so all those packages are available. So this is more of a type search install application here, the Nobara Package Manager. I'm trying to think of shortcuts. There's shortcut. So you can pretty much get anything you need on here and install it. So that's a quick look at that. We've got groups, history, queue, and packages, of course. So if you do download this, take it for a test drive, check out their package manager. I really like it. Reminds me a little bit of Synaptic Package Manager. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And then right here, you do have a software center if you would want to use that. And I think you could just come down here, and if you wanted to get something like boxes, you can install it from FlatHub or from Nobara Linux, which uses the Fedora project.org package. So you can get Flatpaks or you can get the Nobara version. So that's pretty nice. And then you could come over here and you could also do searches here, I do believe. Let's go over here and type in GIMP, and it brings it up right there. And you're going to get a little bit more aesthetically pleasing look here, or you could do it through their package manager in and of itself. So I'll go ahead and close out of that. And then file manager, of course, is Nautilus. It stays out of your way. It's lightweight. You've got your usual suspects over here. Home folders right here. Let's close out of that. Firefox, and then you can install the system, which is Calamares. We saw that at the beginning. Let's go ahead and open this up. Let's go to, these are favorites. Let's go to all apps. So we've got accessories, which will be clocks, connections, extension manager, gedit, open RGB. So you've got quite a few. What do we got for Office? Oh, it comes with only Office out of the box. That is awesome. Now let's see if only Office will respect the actual theme that the operating system's using, because I've noticed that's been an issue in the past. Let's go with interface. Yeah, same as system. It just doesn't respect it because we're in a dark mode. So I'll go ahead and make it dark automatically, and then there you go. And then of course you can make it bigger if you wanted to. You could come over here and scale it to 125, especially if you got bad eyesight like me. So you get only Office out of the box. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's go to all apps, graphics, Inkscape, and photos, internet, sound and video, Pulse audio, videos, cheese. Let's go to all apps, system tools, Fedora Media Writer, install system, time shift. Great tool, great tool. I recommend to everybody, once you get this set up, if you use the BTRFS file system, make sure you check mark it here. If you don't, you can just leave it on rsync. Then you could go next, and it'll show you the disk that you're going to be backing up. Of course, this one is in a virtual machine, so it's not going to show that, but you just click that disk and go ahead and click next, and then you could create a snapshot of that disk. I do recommend that you get your system completely set up and ready to go before you make that snapshot. So if you should run into an issue in the future, all you got to do is go over there, click on it, and it returns it to the way you had it before there was a problem. And we'll go back to System Tools. We already looked at that. And Utilities, Archive Manager, System Monitor, Terminal. Let's go ahead and run us a quick top, see what kind of resources we're using here. I've got 8 gigabytes issued to this machine. Right now, with just the terminal open, running in a virtual machine, we're running 1.7 gigabytes of RAM at use at present. Now, I do want to say this, because we are in a virtual machine, there is probably some of the operating system that is running in the RAM. So once you get it installed, I do believe it'll be a lot lighter on your system. But if you do download it, install it, please check back with me and let me know how it's running on your system. We'll go ahead and close out of that. But it's nice, guys. I think it's got a clean interface, budgie desktop. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, I really enjoy this operating system, guys. Like I said, I tried to use it prior, had some issues, and had to go to something else. I'm going to go ahead and install this on my main machine to see how it works. I do have it on a backup laptop that I put it on yesterday and haven't encountered any of the problems I had prior. But I will keep you updated. I will let you know what's going on. I like the overall look of it. If you're somebody that likes Fedora, if you're somebody that wants the ease of use of something like a Linux Mint, I'd say go download it, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine, take it for a test drive. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you do, hey, come back and let me know in the comments below what your experience was like. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like the channel. Likes keep me in YouTube's algorithm, which means if you found the information in this video helpful, somebody else out there might as well. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. As always, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.